All right, thanks for joining us today. We are Let's Talk Wrestling, presented by Outfox Studios and Pine Skull Project. Sorry, I always tend to mess that up a little bit. I apologize. But again, we're presented by Outfox Studios and Pine Skull Project, and we are Let's Talk Wrestling. Today we've got a lot of news to cover up. I have Sharonica here with me today,
Hi.
and just to give a little plug to our Facebook page here, we do run, Sharonica and I run the AEW Fanatics page on Facebook. And you can check us out there as well as our other social media that we've got going on there as well. And so let's get started because I know we have a lot to cover, especially with AEW, the independent scene, WWE, the dark side of the ring that I want to say excited, but not really because it's not great news, but it is big news that happened recently. So we'll just go ahead and start with AEW right now, just to kind of break the doors on that. So we've got some breaking news that just came out last night. Brand new AEW and Owen Hart's Foundation. They've announced that they're going to have an annual tournament for Owen Hart. That's big news. WWE, I don't know if they've actually tried to do anything with Owen Hart or if they have. Owen Hart's estate has been blocking the WWE from using anything. And there's a lot of reasons why, if you don't know about the history behind the Hart family and the McMahon family. There's a lot of bad blood between them. And so they don't really get along. It took a long time for Bret Hart to even come back to the WWE, WWF, um, whatever you want to call it. So that's a really amazing thing. That's something that actually could maybe usher another appearance by Bret Hart. So I think that's going to be amazing because he showed up. What was it? The first pay per view or one of the first.
Very first AW Double or Nothing, I think. I don't think it was All In. I think it was Double or Nothing. He just come out and brought the belt.
He just held it high, and
And
he was
then,
out of it.
yep.
We
But
never.
they're gonna call it the Owen Cup, if I'm not mistaken. That's what I read. And that's gonna be cool that we have a Owen, maybe like the King of the Ring. Maybe that's what they're trying to do in AEW. WWE did the King of the Ring thing.
Mhm.
So I'm very excited about the Bret Hart and or the Owen Hart stuff. And if it brings Bret, then the best that he is, the best that was.
The best there ever will be.
Exactly.
Top of that, other Hart family members that could also return. So it's really exciting and something that I never thought I would ever see actually ever.
Yeah.
So this
Well,
is amazing. And then Owen Hart will be available in the video games. They're gonna have toy lines. It's like incredible, incredible.
yeah, they've already said that they're gonna with the AEW and Jazzwares that they're gonna make a figure. So I can't wait for that. And then the games, which I already have the General Elite Manager. I don't know if you play it, Daniel, but I play my General Elite Manager. I can't wait for the console game to come out.
Awesome, awesome. So we're definitely excited about that. We're gonna go a little bit fast here, only because I know we don't have a lot of time. I know, Sharonica, you work a lot, so I definitely thank you again for taking your time to come on the show, and helping me do this, talk about AEW and what's going on in this wrestling world. So the next topic that we have is Ruby Rose, and I'm excited about her. I wasn't too
Oh,
crazy.
hey, Ruby Soho.
Ruby Soho, yeah, sorry. See, I call them by their old names still. I have to.
See, the last 2 nights I've heard two podcasts. She just did a podcast with Jericho, and she did a podcast with Renee, Oral Sessions. So, what do you want to know about Ruby Soho?
Wow. Ruby Soho,
She
well,
is
what,
excited. She
like
is
about
excited to be in AEW. She is so grateful. She is so thankful. You can hear the bubbly in her voice when she's talking to Jericho and when she was talking to Renee Paquette on Oral Sessions. You can just hear that she's so excited. And a little thing that I heard too, she bought a house. A week later, she got released from WWE. Now, her and Sarah Rowe are still very, very close. She still talks to Liv Morgan on WWE. But she said that she called Sarah and told Sarah, I got fired. And she said, okay. And Sarah hung up, and then Sarah was right there with her. And she said she just gave her the biggest hug. And Ruby went into panic mode because she just bought this house and got released from WWE. And she was like, oh my God. But then she didn't really do any interviews or any podcasts for that 90 days. Everybody kept asking her to do interviews or anything, so she didn't want to do any of that. But she said the only one she did was the Lars guy from Rancid. She did their podcast, and that's how they got to talking about the Rancid, using Rancid and Ruby Soho. She was already Ruby, so just add Soho. And you can just hear it in her voice. She was like, oh my God, I can do that.
It just worked
Very
out so
cool.
for her.
Yes.
So, and in the ring, she's great too. I mean, she hasn't missed a beat. She's great. She's fast. I love the tattoos. Just her look. Her look is just really crazy. And when she comes out, she's smiling.
Yes,
She's got some
that's what she
swag.
said when she was ready to debut. She said Tony Khan was sitting like behind the screen, behind the in the go position they call it, but he's behind his computer screens or whatever. And she says she's standing there and she grabs the ramp of the steps to go up to come out the tunnel, and she hears her music. But before she heard her music, people are already chanting Ruby Soho. Remember it all out. They were already chanting her name as the Joker card come up. So she said she started shaking, and she said next thing she heard was Tony Khan pop up, and he goes, "Let's go!" And she just walked up the steps, and then the crowd in Chicago welcomed her like they did, and it just floored her. She says she wanted to cry, but she seems very grateful to be in AEW and very thankful. But we know at Grand Slam coming up tomorrow night, she's going against the DMD.
Yep, Britt Baker. She's got a heavy battle against her. They might be bloody. They might be pieces of the title everywhere, pieces of the
Yes,
ring everywhere. It'll just be like it'll. I think it's gonna be pandemonium, and it's gonna be amazing.
cannot wait.
So
But
we've
I
got
do not want her to take the belt from Britt. Let's just get that out and open. Nope, nope, nope.
yeah, a little too soon. A little too soon. Give her some more time with
Thunder Rosa needs to take the belt from Britt.
So we know Britt Baker. So she is the current women's champion. And let's talk about some other champions now. So what are your thoughts on Miro? How he's doing?
Miro,
Miro. No, still no. He's still not on your good list here.
no. He will not leave Fuego
Oh.
alone. And then he's done stole his car. And then he shoved the keys down his throat.
Yep, down his mouth.
What?
Yep, sure did.
And
But
then he had already won the match, and then he puts him in the game over. God's favorite champion.
I think the point was like
But
he didn't even want the car. It was just he just wanted to ruin his
yes,
night.
but did you see all the social media blow up? Like the Street Fighter, Miro needs to do this to the car now. And I'm like, leave Fuego alone.
But it's actually good for Fuego because that means Fuego's actually getting some time, even though
Hey,
he's
that's what he put a post out, and he said 4 months ago, not knowing he had a job, to main eventing Rampage.
Rampage. Yep, that's amazing. That is
Yeah.
amazing. And actually, I think Rampage seems to be a little more exciting. I don't know why, but to me, I find Rampage a little more urgent, a little more exciting than Dynamite.
Well, they have to quit filming Rampage after Dynamite. That is killing me because social media, you can't help it. I mean, you're on Twitter or anything, you're going to see the spoilers. So that just makes Rampage not exciting for me because I'm already done seeing, well, Miro won Fuego's car. And this was Thursday morning. And I'm like, come
Mhm.
on, people. Everybody couldn't be there. But I don't agree with them taping it. And they're going to do that this week. tomorrow night they're doing Dynamite for 2 hours, and then they're doing 2 hours Rampage. So everybody out there listening, please don't spoil Rampage. Let us enjoy it.
And the age of the internet, certainly, the internet is great, but at the same time the internet has also ruined wrestling in a way.
Yeah.
And we'll get to that with the dark side of the ring, of course. How we idolize Ric Flair, and after watching that, maybe not so much anymore.
Yes. Yeah.
We'll get into that a little bit later.
We'll get into that later. Yes.
Definitely. Let's talk about the Lucha Brothers. I know you enjoy them. I enjoy them too. And that cage match from the pay per view, All Out, they said, I have a quote somewhere. It was considered one of the greatest tag team cage matches in history, referred to as the tag team version of Tanashi Okada, Omega Okada, Misawa Kobashi, Flair Steamboat, Funk and Briscoe. Like they're equating it to these really great legendary cage matches, and I think it belongs there. So I think it's gonna definitely get some kind of match of the year, some kind of highlight somewhere, just because you can't forget it. It was really, really good. They gave everything.
Meltzer gave it a 5.5 stars, right?
Out of
Right.
five.
Yeah, out of 5. And the Bucks posted something about on their Twitter how they change their bios every day or whatever. Um, should have been 6 or something. If we were in Japan, and that's it. That's what he said. If we were in the Tokyo Dome, it would have been 6 stars. But yeah, that was the match.
What?
I love Penta, El Zero, Miro, and Ray Phoenix. They're both, I I love them. I hope they don't take their belts away. And tomorrow night they have a match with it's the Lucha Brothers and the Proud and Powerful versus the Private Party and Butcher and the Blade. So I can't wait to see that. It's tomorrow night, but it's on Rampage, so don't spoil it on the internet.
Please, please don't spoil it. Internet wrestling fans out there, the
Yeah,
IWC like to be called, right?
right.
And of course, we've got the heavyweight champion Kenny Omega, and what his program that he's working now with Brian Danielson. What do you think about that? They haven't really gotten physical much, but
He's
they're
gonna kick his face in, and I can't wait. Or kick his head off, or kick his face in, or whatever the American Dragon wants to do. I hope he does. Take Kenny out.
Do you see him getting the title already so soon, right out the gate, right
Well,
after
they
showing
have
up?
a match. They have a match tomorrow night for the Grand Slam. I'm predicting that'll probably be the main event of the Grand Slam. It's non-title, so if our favorite cowboy doesn't come back, I see Danielson and Omega at Full Gear in November, the pay per view. And I'm ready for him to take it. Kenny's now been the longest reigning AEW champ because he stole the belt from Moxley, and now he's bypassed that. So
Awesome.
I don't like Kenny. He's part of the elite, the super clique, elite, whatever. Yeah.
I think this whole the belt collector thing, I think that's starting to die down now. The elite as belt collectors is starting to die down now. I think when the Young Bucks lost the championships, next up is the guys from Impact, the new, what are they called? Luke Gallows, and I don't remember their names exactly. I know
The,
it's Gallows.
the Good Brothers, but I call them the Dumb Brothers.
They need to lose their titles too, so we can get some momentum away from this elite people, and hopefully get some rub on some other people
Yeah.
that are coming in. So we'll
But
see
now
how.
we have Adam Cole, so they say the elite is complete.
Mm.
So,
For now, they always say that, right? It's like the Bullet
right.
Club. Like, hey, we're a family, and then the next thing you know, there's another
Maybe
person.
he'll turn. Maybe he'll turn on them, and if he turns on them, Adam Cole will have a fan in me.
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome, but that'd be kind of weird because Britt is not a face technically, so it's kind of like the dynamic will be kind of weird between them. But we'll see how it
Oh yeah,
goes. It's wrestling. We're used to it.
I, um, on AEW Restricted podcast, they were talking. It was just Aubrey and Tony Schiavone doing their talk, and she asked him about the Adam Cole calling him a nerd and being mean to him in the ring, and she's like, they had to hold me backstage. Like nobody talks to Tony that way. I feel the same way when he get out of here, nerd, and just kept on. Look at my girl one more time, or whatever. Carry on.
Mhm. Actually, I saw something where Tony Schiavone actually said he had to remind Adam Cole to say the word nerd. And
Yes,
he just did in the ring a
Tony
little bit
said he
awkward.
said when he got backstage, Tony's like, you didn't leave the ring fast enough. When he's threatening you, get out of the ring. And Tony's like, Tony Schiavone's telling Tony Khan, I had to tell him to say nerd. I had to put the mic down and say nerd. He was missing a line there. We had worked it out that that's the way it was going to be. And he didn't say nerd. He just kept saying, get out of here. Get out of here. And then I said, nerd. And he goes, oh, yeah, get out of here, nerd. And that's when Shivani started getting out.
Mhm. That was a funny little behind the curtain scene right there that I when I learned that, like, that's hilarious.
And Tony
They're
Schiavone
both
is just,
nerds. It works
he is,
out.
he, Tony is awesome. I mean, he loves Britt. And he even said in the podcast, he said, imagine living with Britt. I mean, he has to be a good man to be able to live with her.
And speaking of Cole, that match that he had against Frankie Kazarian, that was actually pretty good. I thought it was going to be a little more slow paced. I didn't expect Kazarian to actually be kind of neck and neck with Adam Cole in that match, but he was, and he kept the pace, and he looked good. He looked good. Adam
Yeah.
looked good. Kaz looked
Don't
good.
call him you don't call him the elite hunter for nothing.
The Elite Hunter.
What about Max Caster being back? Are you happy with that?
I'm very happy about Max Caster being back. I know people were a little people were offended by his comments, and I could see that. He did go a little bit too far. He's a young guy.
I
He's trying to
totally
get.
agree.
But it was funny that Anthony Bowens came out during when they were they came out together, and Caster's rapping and rapping from a street sheet because he has to behave good and be a good boy, and say
Yeah.
the approved company rap.
Yeah. He just
And I
tore
was
it up. If they want us to read a no,
like,
we can't do that.
we
I
don't do
love
that.
I love Caster when he comes out, yo, and then the commentators back, whenever we would do it in Daly's place, we would always yo back at him. He'd
Hmm.
say yo, we say yo, yo,
I'm sure.
listen.
I'm sure he misses that now. I don't know if the
Yeah,
fans while they're touring are doing that, but he's hilarious. And Bowens, I'm a huge fan of Bowens because I'm not sure if you know about him personally, but he's gay, and so
yeah,
I definitely I applaud that. I
yep.
identify with it, and so
They have
I
their
support
own.
that.
Him and his partner have their own YouTube also.
Yeah,
They
I
do
haven't
videos
much
and
of
stuff. I
there's
haven't seen very much of it, but I mean, I I applaud him for coming out and sticking with it. And I mean, just like Sunny Kiss and Nyla and the transitioning or whatever, I give them,
yeah, I'm definitely
applaud all of
supportive of.
them.
That's one of the things that I definitely like about AEW is that they treat everybody equally. It's not just this is your
Yes.
tag.
And and that's the thing you hear if you listen to any podcast that anybody that works in AEW does. If you watch their YouTubes or you listen to podcasts and actual interviews with them, they are genuinely happy to be in AEW. I mean, you don't hear them say negative or bad things. Jericho cuts his jokes on his podcast, and Renee, she pokes little jabs at things, but no, everybody is genuinely happy to work there. And I mean, I hope Tony Khan just runs with it and keeps going and keeps going.
Hmm. Yep. And definitely CM Punk has been saying, waving that flag. Like, I love
Yes.
AEW. I feel
And
great here. I'm supported here. The people are amazing. The way that they protected Brody and his health information, like that was a big
yeah,
thing. And
that
I
was a huge thing. And that is, I mean, all of them said that at the media scrum. Why do we come here? Well, we seen how tight knit this family is here, this company is, and kept Brody like it was. And but CM Punk, and he's starting something with Team Taz, isn't he?
Yes, he is. Yep. So he actually said Taz's catchphrase, "Beat me if you can, survive if I let you." So when I heard that, I was flipping out because I'm a huge ECW fan. I love Taz also, Taz and Raven and their rivalry. So
Yeah.
I was going crazy when he said that. I'm like, "What? He said it. He said it. He said it."
But see now tomorrow night they will tape Rampage. So again, don't spoil it. But we get Punk against Hobbs.
hmm Yep, I'm
I love
excited.
how they attacked him the other night too. They got him away from the table, and then Hook Hobbs hit him, and then Hook grabbed him like he was going to DDT him, and then he told Hook to go clean off the TVs and off the table and slammed him through it. And that table did not break. I was like, wow, that was a hit there for Punk.
hmm Yeah, he'll probably be resting for a few days, resting
Yeah.
it off a bit. But
Now, what is this about Jericho's new song? What did you
oh,
hear on?
he doesn't have so Jericho doesn't have a new song.
Oh,
Uh,
the at the end,
he was to was his name Dan Lambert? Is it? I believe.
Dan Lambert, yeah,
Yep, the bad guy.
yeah, the
And he
fat
starts off.
face one,
And
yeah,
Jericho says his song. You're a fat face, yeah, yeah, yeah. You're a
yeah.
fat face, yeah, yeah, yeah. So that was
That
pretty cool.
was
I
that
love
was
play off of each other.
that was hilarious. Now I don't. I mean, I don't get Dan Lambert. I don't get what his point is yet. Um, I take it to heart with him down in AEW because I see greatness and I see fun and we love it, you know. If you don't watch it. But if you do, watch it, support. Don't I mean, but he got a lot of heat. He's getting a lot of heat out of his little comments. So
Yeah.
I don't like that my boy Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky are under his thumb or under his wing or whatever they're doing.
hmm
Uh, Ethan and Scorpio were doing fine by themselves. They
I
needed a little bit more mic and promo time.
I don't
But
like
Ethan,
I don't like the team aspect. Like, there's too many people in that group already as it is. They added a female on there. I see. I don't know much about her. Have seen much of
yeah,
her, but
just
it's a weird pairing. Like, I don't feel the connection between them. But I do think he does a good job playing up Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky as the men, as these are the men of wrestling. So
they
I
are the men of the year.
the men of the year, yes. So so I get it. I see it. I'm like, oh yeah, I want to watch them wrestle because I want to see if they really are the men of the year. So I can see the appeal to him being with them and them really getting a good spotlight with him.
Yeah. Okay. So, do you want to run down the card for tomorrow night's Dynamite real quick?
Do you have it open? I
I
actually
have
don't
it.
in front of
We
me yet.
got MJF and Pillman.
Yes. Exciting.
Do you know that whenever they cut that promo in Cincinnati, MJF helped Brian Pillman's sister go into labor that night, and she had the baby the next day or so, which
Wow.
was close to Brian Pillman's birthday. I'm not sure if his nephew was born on his birthday or not, but him arguing and ribbing and keeping on at Linda Pillman and Brian Pillman's sister, it
hmm
set her into labor.
Wow.
So I think Pillman's going to kill him. I mean, or he's going to at least try.
hmm
I think we're going to see what did they call his dad? The crazy
The loose cannon.
loose cannon. I
Yeah.
think that's what we're gonna
Oh,
start seeing
and
come out of, yeah,
he
come
called
out
him
of.
Brian.
Did you
No.
see the picture he posted? He's like always been crying, pushed in the locker or something, always crying, Brian. I was like, oh my God. MJF, major heat, major,
Yeah,
he's the
talking
best
to the
heel.
crowd. Oh, I don't.
Yeah,
That part was a little too much even for me. I was like, yeah,
yeah,
it left a
yeah.
in my mouth. But I know he's just doing his job of getting people to hate him.
Well, and that's the thing. I'm pretty sure that it's all talked about backstage, and I don't see very many surprises, but with MJF you never can tell because he doesn't ever leave character. So i I've never met him, never done a meet and greet. I don't think I ever would because he's such an ass. I mean, I wouldn't want to be subject to whatever he might spit out.
I'll tell you this. I think it's the real him only because he's like 24/7 that, and I don't think anybody could be 24/7 like that. So I think that's really him. Like even if
Yeah,
when he tweets and you read his tweets, I read it in his voice. Like I hear
yeah,
it in his tweets, I hear it on his Facebook posts, I hear it when I see him in interviews. He's MJF, 100%.
yeah. And
This
then and
feels real.
yeah, another match we have looking forward to tomorrow night on the Grand Slam Dynamite is FTR versus Sting and Darby.
Mm. I was really disappointed when they went and he took I remember which one from FTR took the face paint off of Sting and Darby, and I'm just like, what in the world? What are you thinking? Like you can't disrespect Sting like that. He's a veteran.
Yes, and that's kind of like taking the mask off of, that's not cool.
Hmm. Like the Dark Order thing that happened recently.
Yeah,
How they did that.
yeah. Just watched that last night while I was at work. I missed it Monday night, and I'm I'm just beside myself about this Dark Order
Just hang in,
fighting.
just hang in there.
I'm
October.
hanging in there, hoping and hoping and praying and hoping that in Rochester we get the next biggest reveal. But Dynamite tomorrow night, we have also Cody against Malachi Black.
The returning Cody. He probably might get the win.
And
Just
I,
expect it. He's probably gonna get the win. Just bear with it.
I'm prepared. Yeah, yeah. Well, I seen Malachi almost make him retire, so I seen that in person.
They might actually still go down that route. So who knows?
Who knows?
Retirement route.
We shall see. And then tomorrow night, Grand Slam Dynamite at Arthur Ashe, we get Britt Baker versus Ruby Soho. DMD.
That's gonna be a big one. Hmm.
She loses her belt tomorrow night. I'm gonna cry.
You need an
I cried
AEW.
when she won it. I was at Double or Nothing live there. I cried when she won it. If she loses tomorrow night, I might cry again.
Mm, let's hope not.
Let's hope not. And then we have Kenny Omega versus Bryan Danielson. And I can't wait to see the outcome of that.
Mhm. That's an exciting one as well.
Yes.
Now, do you
Um,
have the Rampage too? I don't know if
mhm.
there. I think I did see a few announcements.
And it's going to be recorded tomorrow night. Again, don't spoil it, internet people. Um, but Friday night for Rampage at Grand Slam, we get Adam Cole and the Bucks versus Jurassic Express and Christian. So Adam Cole and the Bucks are now known as the Super Click, and I can't wait to see what happens there because they're not champions anymore. They're not, I mean, I don't know if they're gonna still come out and still be their same goofy dressing, shoes. So
I have,
I'm
I have to say
excited to see that.
after this Dark Side of the Ring episode came out, I really think, really think they need to consider changing their name from Super Click to something else because the Click has connotations of Scott Hall and Kevin Nash and Sean Waltman and Hulk Hogan, not Hulk Hogan,
Yeah,
but all those guys doing crazy things. They might want to change their name.
yeah. But
Just
I'm excited for that match Friday because I love Jungle Boy. I love that the push that he's getting. You know,
yeah.
he's getting from Christian and even being against Adam Cole in the Bucks. He's going to get pushed. You know, they're going to put him over, as you call it, I guess.
Hmm.
And then let's see what else we have. Rampage also announced just yesterday. We get Anna Jay versus Penelope at the
Oh,
Rampage Grand Slam.
okay, that's a good one.
Yeah, and then we get Lucha Brothers with Santana and Ortiz against Private Party and Butcher and the Blade. And then we have Hobbs versus Punk on Rampage. And then Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky versus Jericho and Hager.
The Men of the Year,
Yeah, the men of the year. And
First
Inner
Circle.
Circle. Inner Circle. That right there's got me torn because
Mhm.
I'm on Ethan's Patreon and I love Ethan. And I'm sorry, I'm more Inner Circle than Ethan at that point. And then probably our main event for Rampage, I see the Adam Cole and the Bucks Jurassic Express opening Rampage, but our main event for Rampage will probably be Eddie and Mox versus Minoru Suzuki and Lance Archer.
Yeah. Hmm.
And Lord, please let them play his music so we don't have to hear these people complain.
They have the big sign, Suzuki incident and everything. I'm like, oh,
Yes, and they made a whole thing
like,
out of that. I'm like, what
was
in the?
was he really that upset about it? Like, honestly, or was this like for storyline to get
I
him?
don't know if he himself was upset, which I'm sure he was because of the Japanese customs. You know, he's used to New Japan. They played his music, but then there was a Kazi Nar or something that they didn't hit.
Hmm.
They didn't let it play because Justin interrupted him with John Moxley's entrance.
Hmm.
And the internet and the wrestling fans just went crazy. I have never really watched New Japan, so I don't, I mean, people that are really, really into the New Japan, I get it. But I'm like, okay, but also you have to realize that Rampage is just an hour long. And they were due, or even if it was Dynamite, they were already down to their last like 13 minutes. And it was John Moxley in Cincinnati. And he, so I don't know. They cut his music, everybody went crazy.
Well, they did play it on I think on the last Dynamite or the last Rampage, wherever he showed up
Yes,
at.
they
They
let
actually,
him because they played it for so long before he even come out of the tunnels. So that's where I'm kind of thinking that he did get a little mad about it because of his, Japanese customs and stuff. They have they have different values and stuff. So
the fans actually knew the song, so they were actually singing along to it. So you're like, okay, this
yeah,
guy is legitimately liked because they know the songs, and this guy's not really been seen on United States TV like this, and
yep.
singing his song like they're singing Chris Jericho, you know. So that's pretty
Wait,
cool.
it was all out when they didn't play his music. So from all out all the way up until this past week at Dynamite, the world lost its mind over not playing his music.
Hmm, that is
But
crazy.
that's all that's been announced for the Dynamite Grand Slam and the Rampage um, Grand Slam. But then the next week on the 29th, AEW goes to Rochester. Rochester is the home of Brody Lee, Luke
Yes.
Harper in WWE, Brody Lee in AEW. I have heard and rumored that Tony Khan bought out Bray Wyatt's contract.
What?
He was on the 90-day clause. Bray Wyatt wasn't going to get to come until October, the end of October. But Tony Khan, rumor, just a rumor, bought out the contract. And I could see that happening to have Bray Wyatt or whatever his name will be in AEW. It'll be something different because Bray Wyatt's WWE, of course. I could see Tony Khan and AEW getting that together for the Rochester show. And I hope that he comes and doesn't necessarily just take over the Dark Order, lead them and get them all back together, or we need to bring my favorite cowboy back and get them together because the Dark Order ultimately started falling apart over the whole Hangman Adam Page stuff. So him coming back could fix them, which would be fine with me because if I'm not mistaken, his wife has had her baby. So he is a dad now.
Congratulations.
They had a little boy, and maybe he can come back even at Rochester. But I see them saving him for Full Gear,
Mm-hmm.
which
Yeah.
is just the first week of November.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Too. I think they would hold off on him. Now, I don't see him. Do you think he would? You think he would go more towards to hang out with the Dark Order versus the Elite? You don't see him going back to the Elite now that Adam Cole is back, or maybe feuding with them because Adam Cole is back.
Well, that's my thing because BTE last week on the 13th, I think, Adam Cole was saying on BTE, I'm gonna go find Hangman. I gotta go find Adam. And the Bucks, he walks off, but the Bucks was like, he's not here. Don't go do that. And he wasn't listening and he just kept going. So I don't know. We long term storytelling, AEW, that's what makes it so great.
That is so true. That is so true, and that's actually that's one of the things that Jim Cornette, who always craps on AEW left and right whenever he can, he actually gave Tony Khan and Dynamite a great compliment, and he said, "I have a quote from him. Tony Khan gave me the best birthday present this year with the best AE Dynamite show ever. Am I dead? I have to be
So
dead.
that,
Pinch me, Jim Cornette. Yes, the Jim Cornette."
oh, that, we'll just keep
Actually,
watching Jim and see what's in store.
keep watching. Keep watching. It's very exciting. So you can see the tides turning. Look, even people like Jim Cornette who were crapping on AEW. I mean, remember when the Dark Order threw punches and they were like fake punches? They hired somebody from the street and they were throwing really bad punches and they
Yep.
got that. Like you guys are not a professional organization. How can you be running when you're presenting something so crappy and second rate? And now that's what he was saying then. And look what he's saying now. You guys gave me the best show ever. You gave me a birthday present.
The landscape has changed.
I don't expect that to be that way very long because I know Jim Cornette. He's eventually gonna shit on it again.
Yeah, eventually.
But it feels good to see that kind of stuff.
Yep. So, any more AW?
No, I don't think I have anything more for AEW. Just keep watching. Very excited about the Grand Slam coming up and all the
Yes.
potential changes coming.
And don't spoil Rampage Internet wrestling fans. We get that you love wrestling. We get that you love AEW. We love AEW. Don't spoil our Rampage this week. It's Grand Slam. It's 18,000 people at Dynamite. 18,000 people at Rampage. Let us enjoy it Friday night when it comes on TV.
Which has outsold the Madison Square Garden shows that WWE had. So that's
Yeah,
also
very exciting.
all
So
right.
on to our WWE news.
Yes, on to some WWE news. I don't watch WWE that much, but I do still follow what's going on. So I just want to give a little bit of update. We do know that Triple H had some surgery. Um, I've heard rumors it was he had a heart attack or some kind of cardiac problem or some kind of heart disease. I don't really know what the deal is, what the story is, but I wish him speedy recovery.
Hereditary. So let's just all keep Triple H in in our prayers.
Yep. Just hope for a speedy recovery. Hopefully, he comes back and comes back even better. So we'll see.
Yep.
Samoa Joe.
And I have a rundown of Raw from last night.
Awesome. Yeah. Go ahead.
If that'll help. Did you watch any of it?
I did. Yes, I didn't watch a lot of it, but I did see the about the second half, and definitely the
Yeah.
main event.
The opening of Raw was just amazing because, oh, you didn't know, and doing the New Day,
Mm-hmm.
how they always did it, and then Xavier with the trombone, and because New Day rocks, I was glad to see them back together, and
Yes.
then Big E's the champ, so he comes out, and they had the red carpet in the ring, and he says, quote, "Thank you all below the heavens, and thanks to one incredible friend above," and
Oh,
looks up. He didn't point up or anything, he just looked up. And the Brody chants that erupted, they were in they were in Raleigh, North Carolina, but that must have been a forbidden word because they kept calling it North Carolina State. So the people everybody in that crowd was chanting Brody, and then Big E is like nodding, and Xavier's nodding, and Kofi's nodding, and got him to calm down. And he goes, "Okay, now we got to cut this celebration short because we got a match to put on." Enter Roman Reigns on Raw. He's SmackDown champion, head of the table, whatever. Enter the Bloodline, which is Roman Reigns and the Usos. Usos are SmackDown champions. They're usually not on Raw, but they came out, and Roman stood and held his belt like he does, and Big E just held his belt and stared him down too. And the crowd went crazy. That was the best part of the whole show to me, besides Alexa's Playground when that came.
I did see that. That was really good.
Yeah. But after the New Day versus the Usos and Roman, it was a back and forth, and then Big E finally got to Roman. They were finally tagged in at the same time, so they stood face to face, and he hit Roman with three of the suplexes, I guess you call it, where he grabs him and throws him. He did it three times, and then Roman speared him, hit him. But at the end of that match, Bobby Lashley came and interfered. So it didn't end up in a disqualification. Um, Woods got distracted, and I think it was Roman that pinned him. But Bobby Lashley done speared everybody. He done speared Roman. He done uh, spear Big E, but he was just a hothead about losing his belt, I guess. I mean, I don't know. Paul Heyman was out there, holding on to the SmackDown belt on the other, quivering around the other side of the ring. And then I don't know. But the end result of Bobby Lashley interfering was main event last night was the triple threat between Big E, Roman, and Bobby Lashley.
Mhm.
So ultimately, Roman won the first match, and then the triple threat match, Roman won it. They say he came from SmackDown, won the opening match, won the main event. Now he's going back to Friday. I
For
was
ratings,
reading that all night.
that for ratings, they knew that people were going to be watching if you have both champions on the same show. So, and
Yeah,
they're clamoring for ratings right now. So,
exactly. I seen on Twitter yesterday morning when I got home from work. It was the advertisement for, like, the picture for that match, the Usos and Roman against the New Day, and the caption says, "Please watch our show."
oh, they're
I'm like,
begging.
"Oh no, they did
Oh,
not go there." But then after that, we had Randy Orton versus AJ Styles. Randy Orton ultimately won that, but it was a very quick match. Then we had that duo drop and Eva Marie. Eva Marie says, "Look at me." Again, look at me. And she said, "But I'm not here to put nobody down." And she points at duo drop. But duo duo drop ended up dropping Eva Marie.
Dually.
And then we had Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax. And I read early this morning, I've been at work all night, but sometime closer to morning, I read that Nia Jax really was hurt. That did you see that match?
I didn't see that match. I saw a little bit of it, but I didn't really. It was weird.
It
It
was
was
very quick. They from what I was reading, because I was already at work and didn't see that match, but are getting ready for it last night when it happened. But what I read was Shayna Baszler hurt Nia Jax, so we'll have to see what comes of that.
okay.
And then we had Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo defeated Mustafa Ali and Mansoor.
Throwaway match.
Yeah,
As they
just
put.
a filler match there, I guess. And then there was a big Karrion Cross video. Did you see that?
I didn't know.
I didn't either. But
I'm not
another
crazy.
highlight for me, huh?
I'm not crazy about Karrion Cross's character now. By the way, with the whole like looking like
Mask.
a gladiator, I don't like it.
And where's Scarlett? You can't. And wasn't that his girlfriend, Scarlett? Wasn't that her name?
Scarlett Bordeaux, I
What
think.
is her? They leave her on NXT.
Mm. I don't
Oh,
know. She might not even show up on NXT. I don't know what's going on with her.
oh, okay. But then we had Nikki Ash and Rhea Ripley come out and give the plug for Connor's Cure because during September,
Mm-hmm.
the children's pediatric cancer, WWE has really been great with the Connor's Cure. So they talked about that and how everybody gives and gives and how Connor was a special kid for the WWE. And then they had a match against Natalia and Tamina. And guess who won that match? Did you see that one?
Oh, you told me about
Yeah.
it. So yeah,
Nikki Ash and Rhea Ripley are our new
two
tag
champ.
team champions.
Good.
Like, really?
That's good. That's very good. I'm glad that Nikki's getting her time. Getting to shine a little bit. I really didn't think they were going to give her so much attention. Um, they like the blondes, like the Trish Stratus and the Sunny.
Yes,
They-
exactly. That's my point. And then I was thinking when they made her be Nikki ASH and put that little mask on, like, what has Nikki done to piss them off?
and it
You
wound
know?
up being something amazing for her because look at
Yeah,
her now.
because now she's what are they? Brutality. Now she's with my brutality. Yeah, I love it.
She needs to get
And
with
then
duo drop and have her be. Do you remember Superhero in Training, Rosie?
yeah,
So
yeah,
when I see duo drop, I think of she's gonna be the next superhero in Training.
yeah. And then we had Alexa's Playground. You seen that?
hmm That was
Her
perfect. All this.
her and Charlotte's banter back and forth was just I was like, no, she didn't say that. Oh my God. And then here come Alexa and she said she's like, what do you come out here and say to these people? And the crowd was doing the woo. And
Mhm.
Alexa said, that doesn't even belong to you.
And you said I know you mentioned last night that they may be moving away from the Charlotte Flair name, from the Flair last name, and just calling her Charlotte.
But they didn't last night, so I
They did
don't
tonight.
guess so. I mean, because like you said, they even removed Flair from the intro of Raw, like the WWE video thing that plays before it comes on. They removed Flair from that. They removed his Car Shield commercials from what I read also. But then I seen two of those last night.
Yeah, I saw it too. So
So
those are probably just rumors.
Yeah, I don't know. But Charlotte tore up Charlie, the doll that Alexa was trying to give her. Well, she didn't have her first. And Alexa said, "It's okay, I brought you one." And she hands her it. But Charlotte proceeds to tear up the bear, piss Alexa off. She jumps on her back, tries to put her in the sleeper, I guess, or something. They called Alexa the spider monkey. And then Charlotte hit her and something, but Alexa got the better hand because Alexa hit Charlotte with a tornado DDT and dropped Charlotte on that big old forehead. I was like, "You go, Alexa." And then
I
we
was
had,
kind of nervous about her keeping the spooky gimmick. But I think it's working for her now. I don't know. They may be doing it to kind of keeping it around and keeping it around more as it gets closer to Halloween. Especially
yeah,
because Wyatt being around coming over, they don't want him using anything like it. So if she's still on TV portraying the spooky character that he gave her, essentially.
and then Charlotte even said, "And why do you put on black lipstick? Take that off." And Alexa goes, I just loved their banter last night was so whoever wrote that for
Mhm,
them, or if they wrote it themselves, more power to them. But we know how WWE is.
mhm.
Whoever wrote that for them, that was pretty good. Pretty good.
But of
I
course,
think one of
it's full raw. High points, low points, high points, low points.
yeah.
Dynamite
Because
is
then
like points all the time.
yeah. And then we had Jeff Hardy in a Sheamus match. So I had notes also. It was announced after that we got Extreme Rules is coming up this Sunday for WWE, right? Which will be the 26th. Yes. Um, we're gonna have Jeff Hardy versus Damian Priest versus Sheamus in an Extreme Rules match, and then Roman versus Finn Balor, but Finn Balor is going to be the Demon, and it's an Extreme Rules match. I know it's the Extreme Rules pay per view, but what do they mean when they say Extreme Rules match? Like everything, anything goes?
So I don't know if you ever watched a ECW match. But pretty much ECW, all the matches were extreme. So you can bring anything. You can bring tables, chairs. You can pin anyone anywhere outside the arena, inside the arena. Pretty much as long as you have a referee, anything goes. you
Okay.
know.
Well, I'm glad that Finn is coming as the demon then, because I always liked Finn Balor. When we seen him when we went to that Raw, um, it was Finn Balor was fairly new, and I've always liked him. And then more WWE news that I realized too on October 1st, which will be a Friday, or yeah, October 1st, which will be next Friday, is the first night of the WWE draft. And it's rumored, well, it's already been announced, spoiled, that we're going to have Drew McIntyre. Oh, Drew, I didn't write that down. Drew McIntyre versus somebody, Roman Reigns.
Oh yeah, I did see that.
Okay, for that first night of the draft. But again, Roman Reigns belongs on SmackDown and Drew McIntyre stays on Raw. So that may be the first moving on the draft. It may be announced that Drew McIntyre goes to SmackDown.
He may need that. I think he could use a change of scenery.
Yeah. And let's see. Oh, also, What Culture was talking about somebody else coming back, and Sean Waltman, which was X Pac, or wasn't he also 1, 2, 3 Kid?
Yep.
He is getting a lot better with his injury that he had, and saying he would love to come back for the Royal Rumble in January.
He
So
is
we'll
look. He's looking jacked. I mean, he
okay.
totally body transformed himself. I saw a picture there. They're calling him Mini Braun Strowman or something. Like he's really that jacked right now, and I don't know if
Oh,
it's natural or not natural. I hope it's natural. I would think that he's learned a lot from his career to not be doing things that he knows not it's not going to be helpful for him,
yeah.
especially at this point in his career.
And
But
then he was even mentioned on that Dark Side of the Ring. Did remember? So
as they played an audio clip of him doing an interview about the whole situation. So
yeah.
yeah, hopefully
And
he comes back. Now's the time, Now's the time to come back more than ever.
he says hopefully by Royal Rumble is what culture said when I read that. Also, I think Monday night was the premiere of Dancing with the Stars. Did you see that the Miz is doing Dancing with the Stars?
I'm not wasting my time on that. Nope.
He did pretty good from what I seen,
I'm
but
sure that he listen. The Miz is good at everything he does. I will give him that. Okay, I know that for a fact. He's good at
yeah,
everything. He's a good dad. He's a good husband. He's a good wrestler. He's a good actor. He's a good everything he does is good. So I'm not surprised that he probably is going to get very far in Dancing with the Stars. I predict he will be, but um, I won't watch it. It's not for me.
yeah. I don't either. I just seen that last night and I was like, what, really? The Miz is on Dancing with the Stars? Also, let's see. Well, not kind of WWE, but NXT. The big news was Samoa Joe had to give up the title, right?
Hmm. Yep.
Don't know what happened there. It was just an injury. He about made me cry with his little video that he released when he, had to give it up because I mean, why did they even take him off of commentary? Which we talked about that a little bit last time. Why did they even take him off commentary? Why did they push him back in the ring? Or I don't know. We'll just have to see what happens with him and wish him the best.
Yeah, definitely. I honestly, I kind of wish they would have just let him go when they did let him go, because he was supposed to be released with everybody else, or actually, he was released before this massive release happened last. So he was
Yeah.
released a while ago, and then they brought him back because they knew Samoa Joe was going to wind up being world champion in Impact or something, and we don't want that,
Yeah.
So
That,
I
yeah.
blame him for trying to keep him, but why would they get rid of him in the first place and then still try to woo him with, "Hey, you can be on commentary, you don't have to wrestle," but now you have to wrestle, and now you're injured. So it's just
Yeah.
it's and I don't know why he would continue to put himself through that. The WWE
Yeah.
machine, contract machine craziness, but he knows what he's doing. I guess he's making his money, so I can't blame him. But he could have made more money in AEW or Impact, honestly.
Yeah. I was really hoping that when we first got the word that Joe was released, that after that little 90 days, we'd get that 90 days over with and he'd be at AEW. But we never got the 90 days over with because he came back to WWE. I'm like, really?
Yeah, and now we won't see him again for who knows how long.
Who knows how long? Yeah.
And what they like to do, by the way, the WWE, if you don't know this, when a performer gets injured, they usually will tack on more time later because we signed you for 2 years, but we only got 6 months out of you. We want 2 years out of you, so they're gonna go
Yeah.
and renew the contract. So we're gonna Samoa Joe's not going anywhere for a while. I don't imagine, even
I
when he's
don't
been around for a while in NXT or SmackDown or something. I don't see him
Yeah.
leaving for a long time.
And what else? So with WWE, anything else?
Um, mm, no, I think that was it. Besides the show, the Dark Side of the Ring, that we're gonna get into once we finish up this last little part on our indie news roundup. Thanks so much for hanging with us, going through the AEW news and the WWE news, and I'll just go real quick through some of the indie news. Um, Sharonica, I don't know if you've had a chance to watch much GCW yet. The only big news that I have for GCW, I haven't had much time to watch many of the indies shows. But Ron Funches, who is a comedian, a Hollywood comedian, he's actually did show up in GCW to wrestle a match, which was really great because that gives Hollywood eyes more eyes to the product of GCW. So I thought that was really cool that he opened himself up to
Hey,
work with.
wait, isn't he the black guy that's the same guy that Renee talks about and
Yeah,
has been on?
exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
okay.
Yep.
Okay, cool. I
He's
have to
got.
check that out.
I saw him was on Top Secret Videos on TBS, and he plays. He works with two other actors in it, and they watch videos and kind of comment on the videos and make fun of it and stuff like that. It's a funny show.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
but it's he's a comedian. But I'm glad that he is in GCW working with them because that really brings more eyes to them, more attention to them, and GCW deserves it. I mean, they bring out a lot of good
Yeah.
stars, um, a lot of good people start there.
I
So
do know that in GCW, don't know what day, but sometime in October, we'll get Nick Gage against John Moxley.
oh yes,
Think their next pay per view, maybe, or something. I didn't really get to catch up with a bunch of that news.
they do a lot of shows. GCW does a lot of shows, so it's kind of hard to catch up with them unless you're really watching it consistently. Because they
Yeah.
do shows, and they do a lot of crossovers with other promotions also. So it's really hard to kind of keep up with GCW sometimes. For Ring of Honor, we have a PCO who's a legend in the wrestling ring. He's leaving Ring of Honor. We don't know if he's retiring, maybe moving on to AEW, WWE, Impact. Who knows? But we, hope to see him come back. I hope this is not the end of his chapter, the end of his story. I hope he continues and wish him more success. Right
Yeah.
now, the world champion is Bandito. I don't know if you know much about him. I don't know much about him, but I just know that on the last show, the last ROH show, he actually defended and retained his championship title against EC3 and Brody King.
Oh,
And I,
EC3's in Ring of Honor?
yeah, EC3's in Ring of Honor. He had a title shot and he wasn't successful. Bandito kept the title, but he's doing really good in over there in Ring of Honor. EC3. I'm a big fan of EC3 also.
How, okay, how do we watch Ring of Honor?
All right. So for Ring of Honor and other companies, you can catch them on Fight TV, and you can just go to their website and check their pricing out. I'm sure you can even look for a code, discount code or something, that they usually have online for these streaming apps. But you can definitely find it. Just do a Google search or get it through Fight TV. They also have the pay per views on Fight TV also that you can
Yeah,
purchase
I
there too.
gotta I gotta look into that because I became a big Danhausen fan. Ethan Page, he's on Ethan Page blogs a lot. I've become a good fan. I like him. Very evil. I like to see him actually wrestle.
I see a lot of good things about him. I don't think I've actually seen him wrestle, but I see a lot of him and I hear a lot of him and it's good things. So I'm
Yeah.
definitely looking forward to seeing him too. Um, I know the WWE Network has some independent content also. I think it has the ICW or the IPW, some kind of independent Fight Club, I think it's called.
I know they
That's
have Evolve on there too. Evolve
Evolve.
Wrestling.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. So there's a lot of ways to get these companies out there, so you could take a look at them.
Okay.
Running into Impact real quick, we know Christian Cage. He's got the championship for Impact, even though he's an AEW contracted wrestler. He's still defending the title in Impact. Rumor has it he may drop that to Joshua Alexander, who was the X Division champion at the last pay per view. He dropped the title so that he can go and challenge Christian Cage for the number. So that should
Now
be
Christian just defeated Ace Austin at this last Impact
mhm.
Victory Road, correct?
Correct. Yep.
And that's when so Christian was in the ring after winning with Ace Austin, and that's when Alexander came and pulled option C, right? That they
Hmm.
keep talking about.
Yeah,
I
it's kind of
haven't.
like the briefcase almost. You get to choose who you want to
Yeah.
go title you want to
Uh,
go at.
okay. And then I have a card for Impact that's coming up tomorrow. Not tomorrow. Tomorrow's Wednesday.
Thursday.
I get my days and nights mixed up. Thursday, Impact TV. We get Decay versus Violet by Design. And then we get Petey Williams versus TJP. Then we
Exciting.
get John Schuyler versus Laredo Kid. And then we get Trey Miguel versus Matthew Rehwoldt,
Rainwald.
Rehwoldt. I don't know.
I think it's like
But then we have, yeah,
rain.
but then we have that 10-man tag match Thursday night on Impact. It's Josh Alexander, Christian Cage, Eddie Edwards, Sammy Callahan, and Chris Sabin versus Moose, W. Morrissey, Madman Fulton, Brian Myers, and Ace Austin.
Okay. That's
Right?
gonna be a headache. That's gonna be a headache. That's gonna be a
That's, yeah,
throwback.
that's what I was thinking. 5-on-5, that's gonna be a headache. And you got Sammy Callahan and Eddie Edwards,
Yep.
and you got Moose on the other side, and Morrissey. He's a big old dude.
He is. I'm so glad that Morrissey is back. If I can just plug that real quick, Morrissey. I'm glad that he's really overcome. He went through a hard time after being released from the WWE. He was depressed. I
Yeah,
think that he was kind of suicidal as well. But
yeah.
he really started focusing back on his career. Came back into Impact, and now you see him. He's doing really well, rocking it.
Side note: he is dating Diamond Dallas Page's daughter,
Lucky
Lexi
guy.
McNair.
Lucky guy.
Yes, they post pictures all the time on Instagram and Twitter, I think too. But I see them more on Instagram. They're cute. She's so small. He's so big. He's a big old dude. He
He's
was
gonna have to
big
steal the
cast,
diamond cutter.
right? Yeah, he was big cast with WWE, right?
With Enzo and Cass was their tag team.
He well, he dated Carmella too in WWE. Remember?
Yeah.
So he's getting
he's been
around, huh?
he's been busy.
Okay, that's all. I just had I last night. I seen the card coming up for Thursday's Impact, so I wrote
Awesome.
that all down.
Mhm. Uh,
And
so for MLW Major League Wrestling, we've got Lee Moriarty, who we know is an AEW wrestler who's been contracted recently. He's going to be at MLW and working the 2021 MLW Opera Cup tournament. So he's going to be working over there a little bit, but he's still in AEW because he's got his contract, so he's safe. But the good thing about AEW, they let their wrestlers, as we've discussed
yeah,
before, they just go out and make more money wherever they want to, however they want to.
Tony Khan is the forbidden door. Remember,
Yes, that is true.
he opened that wide open and said, "Go."
That's right. And then we have Bobby Fish, who was in NXT. He's going to be showing up in MLW in October. He's debuting for them, so it's nice to see
Wow.
these guys have been released from NXT WWE. Find new life, find a second chance out here. Uh,
Yes.
the champion right now is Jacob Fatu. Not sure if you're familiar with him, but he's the son of Tama, who is also a legendary wrestler. He's also Rikishi's nephew. I don't know if you know Rikishi or not from the
Yeah.
90s when
Remember him.
wrestle. So he's related to Rikishi. He's also related to Roman Reigns and all the Samoan dynasty family. So he's a
So
champion on MLW.
Rikishi is the Usos' dad,
I think
right?
so. I get confused. There's too many of them.
Yeah, there's a lot of the
too
Samoans,
many,
right?
too many of the bloodline, out there. And
So,
WWE is full of them, with the Usos and Roman and Tamina, I think, right? And Nia
yeah,
Jax. They've got the whole family pretty much over there, except The Rock.
Jacob Jacob Fatu is the champ on
Correct.
MLW.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Jacob Fatu. So that's
another.
cool. WWE is they've got Roman Reigns, and here are all these other companies, who are hiring their family too, and kind of doing the same thing, promoting the best of the best. This family is known to be a famous wrestling family. They're amazing in the ring. We know everything about The Rock that you could possibly know. If you know The Rock, you know the family,
Yeah.
essentially.
Also, last night I seen for New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong, the New Japan Strong. Um, they announced Jay White versus Wheeler Utah.
I'm not sure who
He's been on AEW with the Best Friends. Remember
oh,
him
oh
against Jay White, which was also known as Switchblade, uh, right? He
mm-hmm,
showed up in Impact at one point too
mm-hmm.
and caused a big ruckus, but he's been announced for the New Japan. But it's the New Japan Strong thing that's coming up.
Yeah, Strong is the it's just the American show of New
Yeah,
Japan.
okay.
Put a lot of the American wrestlers on there.
Also, I don't know who, I didn't write that down. I just was reading that this morning, one of the last things. Somebody got hurt on at the G1 climax and is out.
Oh, I haven't heard that.
That's going on. Yeah, we got to look into that because the G1 climax is going on now, right? Or something. And
Yeah.
somebody got hurt and he got put out.
Wow. That's unfortunate. Because that's a
Yep.
a lot of people watch that. So it's a big opportunity for any wrestlers that can be a part of the tournament, the cup.
G1 in that word, like Kenny came, got his big with New Japan, got his big thing going.
Yeah, I'm not too sure about Kenny's history with New Japan. I know he was there and I know he was with the Bullet Club. That's really all I know about
Yeah. Oh, okay. Now we're ready to address the elephant in the room.
that. I think we are. I think we are. And John, if you've seen it, you can comment too if you'd like.
Okay,
So
guys, we are going to
I'm
address
just going to
this
hold
thing.
all my comments for Friday.
yep.
Okay. So the elephant in the room with all the wrestling news that's going on in the world today is last Thursday's episode of Dark Side of the Ring. It aired on September 16th and it was titled The Plane Ride from Hell. Now, we are going to have a special podcast the end of this week, and we're going to talk more deep into this and pick everybody's brains. And we want comments. If you want to leave any comments on this video or this podcast that we're doing now so that we can look them over and address any issues or anything that anybody wants to say. But we're going to dive deeper into that on Friday and probably have it released by Saturday. But for now, we're just going to talk a little bit about what happened. If anybody has, I don't know how you haven't heard anything about this Dark Side of the Ring. Um, I watched it. It came out Thursday on Vice, and I was up working. So I work at night. So as soon as it was put up on YouTube, I was watching it. And I watched it and I took it all in. And then I was like, no, I didn't hear that right. I didn't hear, no, no, no. So I came home, I went to sleep. I got up for work the next night, went to work. I watched it again. And then I'm like, huh, they really did say that. Okay. I wasn't dreaming because in the world today, Ric Flair, well, we'll start with Tommy Dreamer. Tommy Dreamer has caught so much off of this. He's been suspended indefinitely. Ric Flair has apparently being accused of making the flight attendant touch him inappropriately, naked in his robe, doing his helicopter spin with his whatever you want to call it. And then JR says they asked JR, why did Flair not get any repercussions off of this? And all JR could say, and I bless his heart, I love JR, because, but all he could say was, Ric Flair's a made man. And I don't see that as being fair to any of the others. They they talked about Scott Hall. They had to push him through customs. He was he was not even able to walk off the plane, and they talked about so much in this show. I mean, it was mind blowing. And then
Dustin.
this
What happened to Dustin? Dustin being released.
Dustin, yes, and I mean, and poor Jr. I mean, I know that sounds contradicting because Jr. was on the plane and Jr. knew of all these little issues, I guess. But look at what he had to deal with. And then, like he says on the episode, why is that my job? Why do I'm not a babysitter. I can't tell them what to do every day of every minute of every day. And that's where I get the poor JR. And then I'm pissed myself because they immediately suspend Tommy Dreamer. He's been taken off of Busted Open. He's been taken off of Impact. And he didn't necessarily do anything but say what Ric Flair did, spinning his helicopter penis or whatever you want to call it, and then talking about how he'll get backlash. And I think the main issue everybody has with Tommy Dreamer is because he was kind of laughingly. I think it was a nervous laugh. Like he didn't really know what to say. If you pay attention to his body language, because now I've watched it 4 times.
Wow.
If you pay attention to his body language, it seemed to me like a nervous, like, oh my God, what do I say? But instead of saying something, he kind of laughed and he said, and people are going to hate on me because I have 2 ponytails. And he kind of laughed. So I think that's why he's getting all the crap that he's getting. That he kind of downplayed what Ric Flair did,
Mhm.
but then threw it on to, well, I'm going to get backlash over 2 ponytails. You know, people are going to cancel me and hate me. So, what are your thoughts on it?
This episode, there was a lot. There was definitely a lot. Tommy Dreamer, let me tell you, I looked up to Tommy Dreamer my whole life. So, and him and Raven, again, I always talk about Raven, right? I have to throw him in
Mhm.
there. Raven is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. I love Raven, and him and Tommy Dreamer had a massive feud back in the '90s in ECW. They even involved like family members and stuff like that. So it got really heated and crazy, and they had a great program. So I've respected Tommy Dreamer. I've seen his career. I've seen him go from ECW to WWE to Impact, back to WWE, back to Impact. I've seen him. I followed him. I've seen him everywhere. So I love Tommy Dreamer, and I'm glad to see him. He's done even after ECW went down, he was the one that actually took the flag up and made shows for the wrestlers who had nowhere to go. You know,
Yes.
he made shows for wrestlers, and that's to me is amazing. That he took his own money, his own time, built a promotion for himself, yada yada yada. He did it all, and so I really respected Tommy Dreamer. But after this, seeing this interview, I get that he's trying to defend Ric Flair. He loves Ric Flair. I can't say I wouldn't do the same thing if I was in his shoes. I probably would be like, it's Ric Flair, it's acceptable, but it's not. The thing is that it's not, and we have to understand we live in a different world now. Maybe in the '90s and the '80s and the '70s it was okay, but today is, and even though it happened then, and it's like Tommy Dreamer's getting repercussions for something that happened so long ago. A court of law wouldn't even probably go after Tommy Dreamer at this point because it's been so long.
Yes, that is my whole point. This happened so long ago, and the people that are canceling Tommy Dreamer probably wasn't even born when this happened.
Hmm.
You know, I get it. The world is, I mean, the world is touchy now. You know, different subjects are more touchy than others, but I don't know. Ric Flair just getting the free pass because he's Ric Flair makes me my head explode
My
because
my other thing is that they were all drunk and on drugs on the plane, a lot of them. So how much can they really recollect? Like he doesn't think it happened, but he was also probably drunk and high too.
but
So
they and
how
they even admitted on the show that they were given H bombs.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't remember now who, I don't know if it was RVD or the referee Mike Chioda. One of them was talking about how give the girls the it was RVD, give the girls the H bomb, put them out, have their way with them.
And it was normal, like it was nothing.
That was like it was normal, yes. But my thing is, Ric Flair released a statement last night. Tommy Dreamer immediately apologized, but he
Mm-hmm.
still gets suspended indefinitely. Ric Flair didn't say anything about this. This happened, this aired last Thursday. His statement didn't come out until last night, which was Tuesday. No, right? Yes.
Yeah, last Tuesday.
Yeah. Well, it happened. The show aired on the 16th. Ric Flair released his last night after
Thursday.
Raw
So that
on
was
Monday.
Thursday.
Yeah. But I mean, and he even opened his statement with saying, everybody's told me not to say anything, but I cannot keep silent. I cannot not address this. But not once did he admit what he did or what he's accused of doing. And not once did he say he was sorry.
Yeah, I got that too.
Tommy Dreamer immediately apologized and like, this happened years ago. I'm so sorry for anybody that's offended. And he's fired. And then I'm gonna have a hard time if AEW brings Ric Flair. I know Andrade knocked out Chavo Guerrero. I think it was setting up to bring Ric Flair. Ric Flair was my hero. I watched him at the Four Horsemen and wooing, and I loved him.
Mhm.
But after that show, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know. Like I said, we'll get deeper into it on Friday or
Mhm.
Saturday's podcast that'll be released. I I don't know yet.
I will tell you this. I'm usually one to not try to take sides. I try to keep an open mind. And I wasn't there, so I can't really judge myself, right? Ultimately, no, none of us were, so none of us can really judge at the end of the day. But
Exactly.
um, hearing her stories and hearing what she was talking about is everything that I've heard about that plane ride and everything that I know about those wrestlers. I wasn't expecting this from Ric Flair per se. Um, the helicopter thing, maybe he's kind of crazy. I think he
Yeah.
did do that, but now that goes to say he should have still apologized for that at least. Like, yeah, I did some things when I yeah. He tried to say the 30-30. He tried to point to his documentary. The 30-30 documentary explains everything about me. I don't have to sit here and apologize because I've already talked about everything I've done ad nauseum in the 30-30. But you still
Oh
do
yeah,
because
with the ESPN thing.
yeah, hmm but you
Yeah.
still do. It doesn't matter. Not every single person has watched that. Not every single person is going to watch that. I'm more
Exactly.
likely to see his comments on Twitter than watch a documentary on Ric Flair. So I'm gonna see that comment and I'm gonna be like, well, you didn't address anything, man. What's going on? So it wasn't sufficient. It was at all, and that's the same thing with Tommy Dreamer. Tommy Dreamer, yeah, he came out with his apology afterwards. Whatever. You said what you said in the moment. He ultimately Tommy Dreamer tried to discredit the witness. He tried to discredit the witness, which to me is leaves a bad taste in my mouth because you don't know if this is true or not. So the fact that it may be true means you need to keep your mouth shut and
Well,
and let the facts speak for itself.
and RVD says during the show he's seen Ric Flair back there in the galley with the flight attendant not letting her walk away.
Mhm.
So, I mean, there was at least two more eyes that seen this.
And Rob,
And
Rob, I have a reputation of not telling the truth. So most of his stories are all true, from what I've seen and from what I know. So I
yeah,
honestly, I believe Rob Van Dam, and I believe her because more so because of the other stories that she was saying about the other wrestlers, the Brock Lesnar thing. I believe that
yes.
100%.
Did, man, could you imagine if that door would have opened or if they would have knocked a hole? What it was Kurt Hennig, Mr. Perfect, bless his soul, and Brock Lesnar, right? Fighting and hitting the side of the plane. That's two big old guys. What if they would have put, like she said, they could bust through the wall in a house. Why couldn't they bust through the wall in the plane?
And that whole plane, everybody would have just been dead, including Vince McMahon himself.
If he was on it. I mean,
They were,
what don't make sense. Well, okay. Terry Runnels says Vince was on the plane. She was up front with JR, Vince, and Linda. But then they say they sat on this tarmac for 7.5 hours. Does that really sound like something Vince would do?
That's true. That's true.
I
Now,
mean,
Terry, I love Terry Runnels, but I don't necessarily believe anything. Most of the things that she says, but I do believe that he exposed himself to her. That I do. In front of Dustin, I believe that.
yeah. But that's my thing. Like at the very, very beginning, she's the only one that says Vince was on the plane.
Mhm.
And when that's all at the very beginning of the show. And then JR says, yeah, Vince knew about it. He didn't say Vince was there on the plane,
Right.
because at first they're talking about how the seating, and that's when Terry Runnels says she was up front with um, JR and Vince and Linda. And then they talk about how they taxied out of the airport or whatever and then sat there for 7 hours. I'm thinking that's something that Vince wouldn't do. Vince wouldn't just sit there for 7 hours. Or was this plane that big and he, like, in an airtight part of the cabin up there, really not hear none of this? Did he just lay down and go to sleep and not feel Brock Lesnar and Mr. Perfect hitting the side of the plane? Or hear the seats being torn up, like they said? She said there was food everywhere, blood, vomit, syringes. The Undertaker was supposed to be on this flight, also, they said at the very beginning, but he's never mentioned again. So I don't know. And like I said, we'll get deeper into this on our next podcast. We're gonna have a special on just the dark side of the ring. And we will have we will all have time to watch the one coming up this Thursday night, and that's about who?
Chris Canyon. Yep, Chris
Yes.
Canyon. The
He doesn't have a whole lot of good things to say about Ric Flair. Also, you said I don't know very much about Chris Canyon, but I'm gonna watch. I like these dark side of the rings.
yeah, they I don't know. I have to go back and look. I thought they said that they were gonna be talking about it in the Canyon one, but I don't know if Canyon ever had any issues with Ric Flair. So I don't.
Oh, okay.
I don't. I think it's just a different episode. I don't know. Maybe somebody got confused or something, but I don't really think it's gonna touch on the plane ride from hell. And he
Yeah.
was an employee of the WWE at that time. He wasn't on that plane ride. He
Oh,
was,
okay.
so I don't know how it has to do with
Well,
that.
we're gonna have this special podcast about the plane ride from hell, dark side of the ring, and maybe we can touch on the canyon one also, maybe toward the end or something. We'll just make sure everybody can get to see it because it doesn't air till really late Thursday night.
Hmm.
So, but we have a lot in store to talk about when we pit. We're gonna have John and Joseph, I think, on the call also. So we'll have all four of our inputs on Dark Side of the Ring on the next podcast coming.
Of course, especially now because more and more stuff like this is gonna come out. So more and more people are going to be affected by stories like this, and it's just going to happen. And I knew in my heart it was going to happen eventually. There's so much more that none of us even know, about what's been going on behind the scenes in the WWE, from sex scandals. I mean, Pat Patterson with his pedophile stuff. I mean, craziness, craziness, craziness. WWE
Yeah,
is crazy. So, and they protect the people. I mean, they protect their people. Look at Hulk Hogan. I mean, Hulk Hogan went and he's he says he's not a racist, but you know his comments were very racist, and a lot of people were offended by it. His Hall of Fame status was removed because of his statements, and then he does an apology tour, and all of a sudden he's back in the WWE fold, and he's back on WWE TV.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
Did
never liked Hulk
we learn
Hogan.
our lessons? Do we really learn?
I was a Hulkamaniac when I was little. I seen um Hulk Hogan pick up Andre the Giant at my first wrestling event I ever went to. I don't know where the year or whatever, but he had done it at the WrestleMania. So then they had a match, and we went to Atlanta and seen them. And I remember seeing Hulk Hogan slam Andre the Giant in the Omni in Atlanta, and that forever etched in my memory because I was a Hulkamaniac. My uncle would tear his shirt, and his my uncle's last name was Hogan, and we were little, growing up, so he would tell us that Hulk Hogan was his cousin, and he like old shirts that had holes in it or whatever. We're kids, we're gullible, right? Okay, so old shirts that he'd be wearing and holes in it or whatever, and he'll rip it. You know who taught me to do that? And we'd all, yeah, Hulk Hogan. I mean, we're kids, we're gullible. Kids are gullible.
Mhm. I don't blame him. I would do the same thing. I'd rip my shirt too and all of that.
Yeah, my Uncle Jimmy was something else. But I guess that's it for now. We thank you all for joining us and listen to our AEW, WWE, and our talking.
As Larry Sabisco, the little L, right? Larry Sabisco. Do you know Larry Sabisco?
Yeah,
So he used to always sign off at the end of his the WCW shows. This is Larry Sabisco. Good night, and he do his little L.
yeah.
More. Oh, somebody should do that. One of these wrestlers should do that. Put their
Yeah.
initials. CM Punk maybe. CM. No.
No, that takes too long. See,
That
well,
does.
no, not really. Yep. But we thank you for joining us and look forward to the next one.
Thank you all. Good day. Enjoy Dynamite and Rampage.
Yes. Don't spoil Rampage, internet wrestling fans. If you happen to go to the Grand Slam in New York, which there's going to be 18,000 people there, let's keep the spoilers for Rampage under wraps until we get to actually see it on Friday. Thank you very much.
Thank you all.